Is riding motorcycles a form of exercise? How many calories can you burn riding a motorcycle? Or do you need to do extra exercise? Catch you inside.
RevelatorAlf.
Hello, welcome to RevelatorAlf. I hope you're enjoying the channel and the series of videos. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell, like and share, leave comments, and check out the website RevelatorAlf.com. So, we're still under lockdown here in the UK. Because of the coronavirus, of course, and there has been a few comments on the channel, and also articles written out there in the internet world about riding motorcycles and can it be counted as a form of exercise, because we're allowed to leave home for proper forms of exercise. Now, law enforcement, in their infinite wisdom, in many cases have decided that their interpretation of this exercise is that actually it's only in the form of running, cycling or walking. You can't actually use your motorized form of transport to go and do exercise. But can riding motorcycles be a form of exercise? Are you getting a physical workout? There was an article written that actually asked this question, and the writer of the piece, and I do apologise because I've forgotten which article it was, but they asked some motorcycle council, some organisation, and they said, actually, can we class motorcycling as a form of exercise? And even they said, well, yes, possibly, but no, it isn't really. Because you need to have some kind of aerobic exercise. You need to get your muscles moving. So here's where I want to dispute this fact. So let's just discuss how the body uses energy. Now, we get energy in the form of food and drink, what we ingest, what we eat or drink, right? And for an adult male, it should be in the region of about 2,500 calories a day. For an adult lady, a woman, it should be 2,000 calories a day. If you want to lose weight, like I should, you need to reduce your calorie intake and up your exercise. And that's the way it works, really. Now, here's the interesting thing. Just the other night, actually, here in the UK, there was a television programme about how we use energy in our bodies. Now, this is where it gets really, really interesting, for me at least. 70% of all the energy, all the calories that we get in, are consumed by the body, are used by the body just for the body to function. In other words, for our mind to work, our brains to work, for our hearts to work, our liver, all of the bodily functions, everything that we do as a human being, that takes about 70% on average. It's actually between 50 and 80% of all the energy that we get in. It's just for us to be here. And it's called our basal metabolism. It's our body at rest. It's what keeps us alive. Our breathing rate. We can't do anything about that. Yes, we can increase our metabolism a little bit or decrease it a little bit, but essentially it's always going to be in that figure. There's another 10% of the energy that we get in is consumed just by taking it in. In other words, the process of eating, digesting, and evacuating, let's say, through our derrieres, that takes about 10% of the energy. So we've already, just by sat here, and also just by the physical act of eating and digesting, we've used up 80% of the calories. Good result. So that means there's only 20% left of the calories that we take in that we can burn off through physical exercise. So it's actually quite a narrow margin. Now, obviously, the less calories that we take in and the more exercise that we do, proportionally, we're going to be burning off more, and then the body is actually going to be almost starving itself, if you like, and therefore you're going to start dropping weight. You're going to feel a lot better because you're carrying less weight, your body has to work less, and any form of exercise that you do is going to be better for you. Now, here's the interesting thing. And this relates directly to motorcycling. The physical exercise for 20% doesn't mean running, cycling and walking. It is any exercise, any movement. In other words, this, moving your head, moving your cheeks, smiling, anything. Any movement that you do actually requires the muscles to work, actually requires you to be doing something. Now, the more exercise that you do, the more vigorous that you do, the more energy that you're going to expel. So the question is, how much energy are we using when we're just doing normal exercise, physical exercise a day, let's say? Well, if we're taking in 2,500 calories and we're using 20% just by physical exercise, that equates to about 500, 600 calories, let's say. For a woman, it will be in the region of 400 calories a day. So between 400 and 500 calories a day. That's what you're using just by physical exercise. Now, the more exercise you do, the more energy you're going to spend. You're going to burn off more calories. So, riding motorcycles. This is a tricky one to actually calculate, but in an article it said that riding a motorcycle accounts for about between 1 and 500 calories. Now, it really doesn't, it depends how long you're riding the motorcycle, but just the mere act of sitting on a motorcycle and controlling it and using your body, your core muscles, just to control the motorcycle actually accounts for up to 500 calories. Now, obviously, we've got to take into account your body function. So your whole body function, that basal metabolism, is actually going to be using energy just so that you can focus on riding a motorcycle. So you are burning calories. You are using energy to ride a motorcycle. Now, here's the other thing. You got to make the distinction between riding a motorcycle just on the street, as in normal everyday riding, and riding a motorcycle for sporting activities. So let's say you take a motorcycle to a racetrack, okay, or you take a motorcycle off-road, you ride dirt bikes, things like that, trail rides and everything. If you've ever ridden a bike in those kind of conditions, then you'll know you'll be using a lot more energy. If you've ever taken a motorcycle off-road on the trails and you're working hard just to keep that bike under control, you drop it a few times, you have to pick it up, you have to manhandle it. Believe me, you are getting one hell of a workout on that particular ride. Could that type of riding, that sporting riding, could that be classed as physical exercise? Well, I've got to say, in my book, it absolutely is. It absolutely is, because you're using a lot of calories, you're giving yourself a body workout, and by the end of it, if you do it properly, you will be dog tired. So there you go. Just by sitting here, I'm using about 70% energy. Just by any food that I intake, I'll be using another 10%. And just by doing any form of exercising, I'll be using the remaining 20% of the energy that I take into my body. Now, there's no doubt that the lawmakers, the law enforcers, in fact, general perception will be that riding motorcycles is not a form of exercise. But, as I said, in a sporting context, when you're actually pushing your body and your motorcycle to certain limits, where you're actually having to physically maneuver the bike, manhandle the bike, you're getting into difficult situations, believe me, I would say it is, you would probably say it is, but unfortunately, the policymakers out there will probably tend to disagree. And I would say that if you try to argue your point with any kind of police officer in this regard during the lockdown period of the coronavirus, I've got a feeling that they wouldn't think along the same lines either. But I think you can agree that actually in that sporting activity of riding motorcycles, you definitely will be using a lot more calories, you'll be giving your body a big workout as well, and you can be losing weight and burning calories and getting some good old exercise in the same time. Well, there you go. That's it. Riding motorcycles won't be perceived as a form of exercise, but it is really a form of exercise, and you are burning calories, just as I've explained. Well, I hope you found that useful. At least ride safe out there, and whatever you do, just be careful in anything that you're doing right now and in the future. And please don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell, like and share, leave some comments, and check out the website RevelatorAlf.com. And I will catch you again on another video coming very soon. Very soon. Right, I need to do a bit more exercise here before I get out on my bike whenever I can. Ta-da!
RevelatorAlf.